Hey guys, welcome to my new YouTube channel. This is going to be a little space on the internet where you can come and join me once a week or however many times I upload to discuss all things married at first sight related, vegan, sustainable, alopecia, queer, obviously. And speaking of queer, that is what we're going to start off with today. We're going to kick things off with my coming out story. So I hope you all enjoy it. I hope some of you can relate. I hope this helps some of you to come out, as long as you're in a safe environment to do so. And yeah, I hope this can be just like a little safe space where we can all have a nice chat and I can answer any questions that you've got. I'm excited to get into it and excited to start this YouTube relationship or whatever we're gonna call it. Okay, so my coming out story, is it a coming out story? I think it's more of a coming out journey for me, because if you've watched Married at First Sight, you know that I didn't come out until I was in my late 20s. I'm now 33. So yeah, for me, it felt late, but really in the grand scheme of things, it's not. Like I've hopefully got so many more years left of my life where I can enjoy it, being fully comfortable with who I am and fully comfortable with the person that I'm with and knowing that this is what makes me happy. So for those of you who are a bit older, whether you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, it doesn't matter. Just know that it's never ever too late to choose what you want in life and to explore a different side of yourself that maybe you've been thinking about exploring but you've always held back for whatever reason. And like I say, hopefully listening to my story and my journey might help a few people. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. Shall we just get into it? Let's start from the beginning. So we're going to rewind back to my teenage years, because I think because I came out when I was 28, there was quite a few poignant moments when I look back where I think to myself, oh, like, why didn't I act on it then? Like, why didn't I realize then that I was gay? Why didn't I know? Because there seems to be a few moments where I could have had those moments of realization, but I just pushed them to the back of my mind and just forgot about them. And I think it's because we live in this heteronorm world, this very straight society, and I'm surrounded by all straight people pretty much. So for me, it was hard to even think that being part of this queer community could be a thing, that could be reality. It never crossed my mind. So when those moments happened with women where I could have questioned things, I ignored them. And I just thought, I bet everyone gets these feelings and, you know, it's just a phase or whatever, and you just kind of forget about it and go on living your normal life. So yeah, anyway, that being said, rewind. We'll go through these moments now. I'll break it down for you. So teenage years, when I'm like 11, 12, I'm kissing girls. All my girl mates were kissing all the time. This was probably just before high school or around first year of high school. And I just thought that was normal. I felt very comfortable doing that. I was like, yeah, surely everyone just does this. And turns out, no, that's not what everyone does. So looking back, that was obviously a big telltale sign, because not only, I mean, even if for some people who are straight, because obviously being straight is a thing, you know, you can still experiment with people of the same gender in those early years and then go on and be straight and live that straight life. But for me, when then after these moments happened with the girls and that kind of stopped, and you know, high school happened and all my friends around me, my girl mates, were all getting boyfriends and they were all experimenting with guys, and it terrified me, like petrified me. And I was just like, I really don't want a boyfriend. I really don't want to kiss a boy at all. Like, all of that just sounds like something that's so out of my comfort zone. But I felt like this immense pressure to just do what everyone else was doing. So I feel like that's where it kind of all started, this kind of just following traditions and following norms. Probably why I'm so against traditions these days. I feel like I'm in a therapy session with myself and I've just kind of come to a realization. Oh, fuck. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, all my friends getting boyfriends. And yeah, like I say, it didn't feel comfortable. And I forced myself to get a boyfriend in year 7. I remember this. Lasted 2 days because we kissed. It was awful, gross. And I was like, you're dumped after 2 days. Yeah, so that didn't last long. Sorry, whoever you were. Yeah, so after that, so after this very brief relationship, I then didn't have a boyfriend for years, like until I was 17 when I got my first boyfriend. And even then it was kind of terrifying, and I still wasn't fully comfortable with it. And then, I dated guys for years and was in relationships with men, but no matter who it was, didn't matter how amazing they were and what they had going for them and how compatible we were, something just never felt right for me. Something was always off. My first proper relationship with a guy, I was 21. It lasted 2 years and he was my best friend. Like, I did love him. He was my best mate. And we could have had a very happy life together. We could have, gotten all together, had the family, done all the usual things, but none of it felt like it was ever going to actually happen, because I knew that at some point I was going to end the relationship, because there was just something niggling in the back of my brain, like, this isn't right, this isn't what you want. That ended, and then from there I kind of went, through these different relationships, again, just feeling very similar. Didn't matter who they were, it just wasn't happening, and I would always find an excuse. I would always get the ick. Don't start, okay? Good boy. Go through my 20s. And then again, whilst I'm having these relationships with guys, there's the odd moment with women where, and it could be the smallest of encounters. Like, there was a woman who was flirting with me, who was a waitress, and she was serving us for dinner one day, me and my friends. And I remember her giving me these eyes, and I was just thinking, and I just felt so nervous. I was like, oh my God, she's flirting with me. And I didn't know what to do with those feelings, because a part of me couldn't stop thinking about that. But then at the same time, I was like, no, I'm straight. I've only ever been with guys. I'm just straight. Otherwise I would have been with a woman by now. So I've just pushed into the back of my mind. There was another time when someone who I knew, a friend of a friend who I knew, was gay. And very confident, and someone that I would kind of look up to a little bit. She grabbed my hand in a bar and dragged me through the crowd, and I just remember it feeling like electricity. I was like, oh my God, I really want you to kiss me. But it never happened. And again, it was a fleeting thought. I was like, oh no, maybe I just had one too many drinks and I was just not quite feeling myself. And then there was this one. This is a funny story. So there was another time, I think I was about 25, 26, and me and my friends, they were all my dancing friends because I used to be a professional dancer. We went to a bar in Blackpool, and a guy from kind of the same industry, from the Blackpool scene, came and joined us for a drink, and he was one of our friends, and he brought his cousin along, and his cousin was gorgeous, and she was gay, and again, very confident with who she was, very confident in herself. She didn't even know I existed, but I was just crushing so hard on her, and all I could think the whole night was, I really want her to come on to me. I really want her to come and kiss me. Anyway, like I say, she didn't even know I existed. She wasn't even looking at me. And at this point, all these thoughts and feelings of mine were just completely in my own head. I have not voiced them to anybody. I've not spoken to my family, my friends, no one. So my friends are all around me, oblivious. Anyway, this girl leaves the bar. Don't see her ever again. And then this guy comes up the stairs and comes and joins us and has a drink with us. We're friendly. Just comes and joins us for a chat and a drink. And then he goes to us, oh, by the way, I'm a psychic. And we were like, no. Do us all a reading, tell us all our future. It's a bit of fun. And so he goes around all my friends, all my straight friends, and he's like, it's going to take a few years to get your career off the ground, but once you do, everything's going to fall into place. You're going to meet the love of your life in 2 years, and you're going to settle down. You're going to have a lovely house and get married at this day and have 3 children, la 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 la, rainbows and fairies, all that stuff. And he went around them all and gave them all these little what's going to happen throughout their life. And then he got to me and he just went, lesbian, and then just walked off. He's also gay, so maybe his gaydar was on or something, I don't know. But yeah, he just went, lesbian, walked off, and that was it. Last we saw of him. And that moment has stuck in my mind and will stay in my mind forever, because I just remember the sheer panic of me thinking, oh my god, like, how does he know that I fancy girls? How does he know? Like, do my friends know? Are they aware of this? Like, are they now all sat there thinking, oh, is Jenna gay? So yeah, it was just sheer panic because I hadn't figured things out for myself at this point. But I think the fact that that moment stayed in my head, as well as all these other little moments, they started to build up over the years. And then I plucked up the courage when I was 28 to finally download Tinder again. I mean, that's not an achievement, but anyway, I decided to download Tinder again, and instead of just looking at men, I put in women as well. And I was like, okay, let's just see how I feel, see how I feel, let's gauge this situation. And then I just noticed that any guy that came on screen, didn't matter if he was a fucking Adonis, it did not matter. I was just swiping left, didn't give a shit, and I was just looking at all the women, dead interested in them, what they were about, couldn't wait to get conversations started. And then that's where I found my first girlfriend, and the rest is history. I mean, there's a little bit more to the story, but yeah. So that, yeah, at one point I did just completely get rid of all men off Tinder because I was like, I'm clearly not interested. This isn't for me anymore. Not feeling it. It's never gonna happen. Stop trying to force it, Jenna. This is not for you. And then, yeah, got my first girlfriend, and me and her are still friends to this day in typical lesbian fashion. And she will be someone who is always very special to me because she was my first girlfriend. However, looking back, we were just really good friends. And I think I kind of feel bad because I was only just dipping my toe into this queer world. And not that she was an experiment, that sounds really harsh. I was just figuring myself out and, who I was attracted to and my type. She was lovely, and like I say, we're still friends, but she just wasn't the right person for me. That became apparent quite quickly. And then I was eager to kind of get back into like dating, but just dating women and only women. I think I did battle for a while with, I know I battled for a while with, am I bisexual or am I gay? It has taken a while for me to figure that out. And I can say, not that you have to ever label yourself, but I can say for myself, 100%, I know that I am meant to be with a woman and I want to be with a woman, and there's no part of me that will ever be with a man ever again. And if you've been watching Married at First Sight, I got married to the beautiful Zoe. Obviously, if things are still going well between me and her, then I shouldn't even be having these conversations about who I will be with in the future, because me and her are very happy together. So yeah, I think coming out, I've still not mentioned that bit. That would be handy. So that was kind of my own personal journey and how I was feeling. And then there was this just utter relief when I did start dating my first girlfriend. Internal relief. However, the coming out side of things and like actually telling people was a bit more scary, obviously. However, I don't ignore the fact that I am someone who is quite privileged in the fact that my friends and my family are all very loving. Bo, why are you snoring, mate? This is not a story to be snoring at. How dare you, Bo? For God's sake. Okay, so get into the actual coming out part. I don't feel like I ever actually came out, like not in the traditional sense that you kind of sit your family and friends down and you tell them all at once. It was never like that for me. I think the fact that I was comfortable with my decisions and who I was, and I knew that my sister had been through those experiences as well, and she had been accepted. Although there was worries of people not believing me, I think I just kind of thought, well, I'm just going to go on this journey for myself and people are just going to have to get on board. So I never felt like I needed to come out and give this grand speech. I'd already started dating my first girlfriend at the time. I remember I was on the train down to meet my sister in Brighton, to go to Brighton Pride actually. And I was on the train down there and I just messaged her and I was like, just so you know, I'm dating a girl. And she was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And she already knew, like, I don't think it was that much of a shock to Josie, maybe because she's already immersed in queer culture. She already kind of knew that I was that way inclined, that I was probably potentially having those thoughts and feelings. I feel like she could sense it, even just like, she would make little comments about the way I dressed or whatever, like that beanie's a bit gay, you know, and I'd be like, oh, okay. And I'll just carry on wearing it. So I think she already knew, and she was just very happy for me. She just like, yeah, could not have been more ecstatic. And then she became the person that I could go to and speak to for any advice. And it's quite cute really, with her being my little sister that normally comes to me for everything, but she has been someone who I've been able to go to, and her wife, for any advice. And like, it was just such a relief for her to, like, obviously there's even a part of me that thought my sister might be like, no you're not, and I would be, then that would have been huge. That would have been so gut-wrenching, because I just wanted people to accept me for what I told them and not question it, and my sister didn't question it at all. If anything, she just encouraged me to be happy and to just do what I wanted to do. The rest of my family, yeah, I just kind of told them very slowly. I was like, oh, just so you know, like, I've got a girlfriend. It was just very casual. I like to keep things casual on a day-to-day basis, very laid back. And yeah, I mean, some people were like, really? Like, especially like friends. Like, I have some straight friends that have seen me with guys and have known me in relationships with men, who I think have found it much harder, even to this day, to wrap their head around. I can understand, because they've only seen me in that kind of world, and maybe they've not seen me so much in relationships with women, that they're finding it hard to kind of wrap their head around. But at the same time, they'll get there eventually. They'll see that this is not a phase, you know, doesn't invalidate the relationships that I did have in the past. For me, it was just a journey. Like I say, it was this journey to figuring out who I was and what I wanted and what genuinely made me happy. And now, being with a woman, like, it's the best thing ever, and I could never imagine seeing another penis again, not voluntarily anyway. So yeah, this is definitely the right decision for me, and I don't think that coming out later should be frowned upon, or you should ever question yourself. No matter who's around you, no matter who's questioning you and your choices, just go with what makes you happy and how you actually feel, and you'll realise that in time, just things will start to feel normal and right. I feel like there's a lot more that I could obviously go into. There's a lot of these little topics, like the heteronormativity, like how to deal with being a femme in a very straight society, or a mask, like how queer people kind of go through life. And there's a lot of little topics that we could maybe go into in other videos, and I can delve deeper into those topics. So I'm excited to, yeah, get into these conversations. And if you have any questions, any kind of like videos that you want me to do in future, like any topics that you want me to discuss in particular, then just make sure that you pop them in the comments below. It feels very weird me doing this, the comments below, because obviously this is my first time ever filming a video like this. What do people say? Like, subscribe, press the bell so that you get notifications when I release my next video, wherever the bell may be. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed my little coming out story. I might have left a few things out, and if I have, then I'll just have to do a part 2 at some point. But that's kind of the gist of it, and I just hope that, I think especially the age thing for me, I've had a few messages from people on Instagram basically being like, you know, I'm 50 and I've had these feelings for women in the past and I've still never come out. And I'm just like, oh, it just like breaks my heart, because I just feel like, why hold something in? Why not just explore it? Why not give yourself that chance to see how you feel? Because if you've been having those feelings for so long, there must be something there. Once you take that leap, once you take that risk, it might all pay off and life will just make sense. Like it did for me, and now I'm a happily married woman. So there we go. Yeah, thanks guys. See you next time.